Hello and welcome to episode 58 of Things I've Learned from Barry Harris. Today I thought we would finally get around to working on the second 4 bars of a blues, which would be bars 5 through 8, and all the different variations of ways to play them. Maybe I'll even give some examples of how I think about it. But first we'll talk about the scales. So I'd done the scales previously to the blues as my first episode. Episode 7, I think, which I'll try to leave someplace, is the first 4 bars. And in that episode we did it in the key of C, so I guess we'll stay in the key of C. So the second 4 bars of the blues in the key of C starts on F7. So we'll play the F7 scale up and down. And then we'll play, the next part is C major 7. Up and down to the 3rd of A. So that's a point of contention for a lot of people because they're used to hearing a blues where it goes back to a dominant chord as opposed to major. But if you listen to Bird and Bud and all the masters, they'll play that as a major because that's a specific sound they like to hear. So that B natural will be there. So that's basically what we're going to look at. Those two things. F7, up and down. C major 7, up and down to the 3rd of A. So first, we'll take a look at just playing F7 scale into C major. So anything that you know how to do in F7. Let's start on the 3. And put 1 half step. And then we'll end on the F. So we'll say, let's see. Just a simple phrase. I don't know if I'd exactly play it that way, but it's just an idea. Maybe let's try to put 3 half steps. Let's see. Maybe we'll come up a diminished from the 3rd. So we'll say 1. So we'll say. So that was running 3 half steps and then putting down to the 3rd, going up a diminished and ending on the 5th. So that's if we just did F7. Now we can also think, we kind of referenced it a little bit on the last line, where you think of 4 dominant, sharp 4 diminished, which is nice. So now we can do anything on. I might not even play F7. I might just play that diminished. So if we play it again, first 4 bars. I didn't even play any F7. I just went right to F sharp diminished. And again, I ended on the 5 of the C. So there's another way. Then you can play that actual diminished scale, which is if I take the F sharp diminished and I lower 1 note of each one of them, I get 4 different dominants, which Barry refers to as family. So there's the 4 dominants. The 4 dominants would be B, D, F, and A flat. So if I play those 4 notes, I get a diminished. If I also play F sharp diminished, then if I put those 2 things together, I get this scale, which some people refer to as a whole step, half step, or half step, whole step, which Barry can't stand that phrase because he feels like it leaves out what its origins are, which is actually more important than the scale itself. So yeah, you could just play that scale over this part. So let's see. That was just that scale. Again, I ended on the 5th. So there's a lot of different ways. Also, instead of F7, we could treat this maybe like F major. So that would be F major to the sharp 4 diminished. So that's 4 major to the sharp 4 diminished. Also, we could treat it like 4 major to 4 minor. So which would be. That's a nice one. So 1, 2, 3. nice too. And that's just treating it as F major to F minor. Another movement which goes back to 1. So all these movements you could do just on that, what we're using the scale, just F7 up and down, but these are all the little movements that can happen within those 2 bars, which would be, I guess, bar 5 and 6. So that's that little aspect. So one thing when you're talking about 4 major to 4 minor, Barry would probably say F major scale, and he would then say B flat 7 scale, because Barry looks at the minor, the 5, as the 5 of a dominant. So he would look at that as a B flat 7 scale. So that's why I was kind of messing around B flat 7 scale there. The next part of it goes to C major. Now this part is interesting because you could just play regular C major scale up and down to the 3rd of A, which is kind of what we do when we play the scale. But we could, do lines. That's all line. Those are all, those are all 1 to the 6th dominant. But we can get even deeper in those because sometimes people play, for instance, another change is in that little spot, the major for 2 beats to 4 dominant for 2 beats to the 3 chord to the 6 chord. So it would be. That's a change that people play, which means you should probably play that if you're a soloist. So that's a nice one. Or let's see. That's a nice one. Some people play this. How about it's a nice one. That's all these changes. But do do dee da dee da, babia dee da dee boo bilia dee do da. See, that's the important thing, is to hear those changes behind it. Another set of changes people use is sometimes 1 to the 4, and then they'll play 3 to flat 3 minor to 2, which would be. So we play that. Those are all changes we play. Dee da dee bo e ba bo 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 ba. These are all little things that you do. A lot of, let's see. And Barry likes to say that this, like Barry says, that E minor 7 consists of 2 things. It consists of an E minor triad, and it also consists of a G major triad. So that means any of those things I can run like a G major triad and then run it down a half step until we get to, on this change, E minor to E flat minor to D minor. Barry sometimes thinks G major triad to G flat major triad to F major triad. So if we were playing, that's a nice one. So we play. That's nice. Or those are nice too. Or we could focus on just the E minor to the E flat minor to the D minor, which would be let me clean that up a little bit. Those are pretty. Or I could have played straight E minor 7. Or the first one up, second one down. That's a nice one. Those are nice. All pretty. Sometimes people play this too, which is the 1 to the 2 chord to the 3 chord to the 6 dominant. So go into that. So after the 4 dominant, into triads. Those are pretty too. Sometimes people will take the tritone of the sixth dominant. So in this case, it's A7, and then they'll play E flat 7. So let's try that. So it'll just be like running C major, running C major into E flat 7, which is beautiful. Oh, wait. That's pretty. I just came down the second of a chord from the second of E flat 7. So also sometimes when doing that E minor to E flat minor, some people play, obviously, instead of thinking the E flat minor there, you could also think it's dominant, which would be A flat 7. So sometimes you could think playing C major to A flat 7. So that's C major into A flat 7 into G7. So see all the different ways. I mean, you could go crazy thinking about all these things, but also flat 3 diminished is a nice one. 3 to the flat 3 diminished to 2. That's a nice one too. So that would be something like that's a nice one. That's a nice one, the flat 3 diminished. So let's see. So just in that, the point of this is not that you copy my phrases, which aren't that great anyway, but it's just the idea of how many different movements you could play in that little spot, that little 4-bar spot of a blues is incredible. That's why I think a lot of the great musicians always say if you really want to learn how to play jazz, you have to know a blues, you have to know rhythm changes, and you have to know some ballads, you know, Body and Soul or Embraceable You or things like that. I think because that takes a lot of the aspects of the music into account in a tune. So just within those 12 bars of a blues, if you just notice just those 4 bars that we talked about today, how many different movements did we come up with? And there's more. I mean, there's more. I know guys play a lot of other changes, but I'm just trying to break it down to show you just a small few, so you see different reasons why you have to learn how to play E flat major to F7, or E flat major running into A flat 7, or or C major running into E flat 7, or C major running into A flat 7, or E minor walking down to E flat minor, which Barry considers that E flat minor, A flat 7. But all the little important things that are involved, all the half steps, the thirds, the triads, the chords, the everything you worked on to try to create lines using those movements. So between that and the first 4 bars, there's a lot of things to practice, really a lot of things. I could see already just from giving this little video how many things I don't really see that well, that I have to see, that I know mentally, oh, okay, yeah, that's right, C major into A flat 7, but how many pretty ways do I know how to play it? You know, it's very important. So enjoy working on these, and hopefully before the next 2 years I'll make the last episode on the last 4 bars. But I hope you enjoyed episode 58. And also, if you get a chance, make sure you check out Barry Harris's website, because he's been doing online classes from his house when he's feeling up to it. And you can register on barryharris.com. I think it's $10 to take a lesson with him, which is remarkable. And it's in a Zoom setting, so it's great. It's a class, lesson where he just goes to the piano and talks, and he'll talk about movements and things like this, only the examples are, you know, obviously on a master level. So, okay, anyway, until next time, see you soon.